Hello and welcome to your weekly Excel tutorial with Dave. Today we're going to talk about the if function. The if function in Excel is only limited by your imagination. It allows you to define a logical test, define what happens if that logical test is true, and define what happens if that logical test is false. I'm going to give you three different examples of formulas that I'll define as beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So the beginner starts now. What we need to do first is start our if function. And what we need for this column, the programmer bonus, is determine whether this person is or is not a programmer. So we want to look at their title. The title equals programmer. Now, our second argument is the value if it's true. So if this person is a programmer, I want them to get bonus. The third and the final argument is value if false. Well, if it's false, if they're not a programmer, then I don't want them to get the bonus. So I'll say don't get bonus. It's that simple. This person in particular gets the bonus. So now if I copy this formula down, you'll see that this person gets the bonus, the next two do not, and the final person gets the bonus. Spot checking, and in this case, entirely checking. The programmers get the bonus. The non-programmers did not get the bonus. I know this function is working properly. So now, moving on to the intermediate example. In this case, we again want to determine if this person does or does not get the bonus. So we again test if they're programmers. So if E2 equals programmer, what happens if it's true? So pay and bonus we determine by the salary. So I want them to get their pay. I also want them to get the $1,000 bonus, whatever it happens to be. So I can include that equation into the true value. So I've actually given it two different arguments. I've given it the salary plus that $1,000. But that's because they're a programmer. The final argument, again, if they are not a programmer. If it comes back that E2 does not equal programmer, if programmer is not in that cell, what do I want to happen? Well, in this case, I just want their salary. So just D2. So I finish that equation, and this one happens to be 51,000. The salary is 50. This equals 51 because they get the bonus. This one is 75,000. They don't get the bonus, and their salary is 75,000. So in each of these cases, you're actually getting an equation if it's true, and you're just getting a cell value if it's not. So in this case, I need to start the advanced. The advanced, we're going to do a little bit differently, and we're going to do what's called nesting. So in this case, let's start very simply by putting a new logical test on this. So their actual work schedule, so their schedule. What I want to do is determine if they are full-time or if they are part-time. So in this case, I need to add together all of these values, Monday through Friday. So if that value is greater than, or if it's equal to 32, then what happens? If it's equal to or greater than 32, then I know they are full-time, which I'll designate as FT. If it's not greater than or equal to 32, I know that they're part-time, which I'll designate as PT. So we start very simply as defining whether they are full-time or whether they are part-time. The next part of this is, in this particular company, somebody who has just started, perhaps in the year 2014, their hiring date, then they don't have to work 40 hours a week to be considered full-time, perhaps. Maybe it's a trial run. Whatever the case may be, if they are working more than 32 hours, they are always considered full-time, and that's okay. However, if they are working less than 32 hours, they are not necessarily part-time. So what we're going to do is we're going to nest an additional if statement. So we're going to give it another condition. So this if statement I can put in the value if false field. So now if the new logical test, if this year of the hiring date happens to be equal to the year 2014, if that is true, then they are still considered full-time. However, if that also is false, they're still considered part-time. So in this case, this part-time employee, and we copy this down, this part-time employee who's working less than 32 hours a week, less than 40 hours a week, they're hired in the year 2014. Therefore, they are still considered full-time. However, this person, Jane Doe, happens to work less than 32 hours a week, and they were hired in the year 2013. So they are legitimately considered part-time employees. If you found this video helpful, if you liked this video, please subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments or send me a message and I'll get back to you. Thank you.